In just 7 days, everything you know about your financial situation will be completely transformed. I'm not talking about minor improvements or temporary adjustments. I'm talking about a total revolution in your relationship with money and abundance that will leave you amazed by the speed and magnitude of what's about to unfold in your life. You've arrived at this message because you were chosen. Among millions of people currently struggling financially, something in your spirit sent out a signal, a specific frequency that identified you as someone ready for this extraordinary moment. It's no coincidence you're watching this video. Now, this is a divinely orchestrated encounter. I deeply understand your silent struggle. The sleepless nights spent worrying about bills, the suffocating feeling when you check your bank balance, the shame of having to say, "I can't afford that right now," to your family, the endless exhaustion of working harder and harder just to stay in the same place. This financial pain has been your constant companion for far too long, but it's about to leave your life permanently. The number 7 wasn't randomly chosen for your financial transformation. In fact, this number holds deep meaning in the sacred scriptures that reveals why you, as one chosen for this revelation, are positioned for an accelerated manifestation of abundance that others simply cannot access. In the scriptures, the number 7 represents perfect completion and divine fullness. God created the world in 7 days. The walls of Jericho fell after 7 laps on the 7th day. In the divine economy, the 7th year was the year of Jubilee, when all debts were cancelled and lost properties were returned to their original owners. This isn't common knowledge, it's strategic revelation, reserved for those selected for extraordinary prosperity. In Genesis 41, we find the story of Joseph interpreting Pharaoh's dream of 7 years of abundance, followed by 7 years of famine. What few understand is the hidden principle within this passage. Those who recognize the divine cycles of 7 can position themselves to capture massive wealth transfers during times of transition. You were divinely guided to this revelation precisely because we are entering one of these rare periods of economic transfer. The 7-day financial miracle that is opening up for you is not just a blessing, it's a divine covenant. Unlike conventional methods that can take years to yield results, this covenant operates on an accelerated timeline where each day represents the completion of a full cycle of manifestation. What would normally take years to materialize will be compressed into just 1 week in your life. This 7-day covenant functions through specific layers of transformation. Day 1. Immediate dissolution of spiritual blockages that have prevented resources from flowing to you. Day 2. Recalibration of your energetic frequency to align precisely with the vibration of abundance. Day 3. Activation of divine connections with strategic individuals who will be instruments of your financial advancement. Day 4. Revelation of hidden opportunities that have remained invisible to you until now. Day 5. Supernatural multiplication of the resources already in your hands. Day 6. Cancellation of debts and financial burdens through unexpected divine intervention. Day 7. Permanent establishment of your new level of prosperity and abundance. As a chosen bearer of this revelation, you are being granted access to a divine system of accelerated manifestation that operates beyond conventional economic limitations. This is not an experimental process. It's a tested and proven mechanism that has consistently transformed the financial circumstances of those selected to receive it. Comment below. Which day of the 7-day covenant resonates most with my current need? Your answer is not trivial. It directs focused energy toward the specific aspect of the covenant that will produce the most immediate results in your particular situation. Starting tomorrow, you'll begin to notice subtle yet undeniable shifts in your financial reality. Doors that were firmly shut will begin to crack open. People who never acknowledged your value will suddenly express interest in your skills. Resources that once seemed completely out of reach will start gravitating toward you. These are not random events. They are the first tangible signs of the 7-day covenant activating in your life, as revealed in Deuteronomy 28:12. The Lord will open the heavens, the storehouse of his bounty, to send rain on your land in season, and to bless all the work of your hands. This verse is not just a vague promise. It is a divine declaration over your financial life in this exact moment. Heaven's storehouse of abundance is opening specifically for you, and the flow of prosperity will begin to manifest in the next 168 hours. The transformation I'm describing has already happened to thousands who received this revelation before you. People who saw decades-old debts suddenly wiped out, financial opportunities appearing from completely unexpected sources, a multiplication of resources that defies any conventional explanation or traditional economic logic. Imagine waking up next week to discover that the financial stress that's been poisoning every aspect of your life has simply vanished. Imagine the feeling of checking your bank account and, for the first time in years, feeling complete peace instead of anxiety. This isn't a fantasy, it's your immediate future. Share in the comments, what financial prison is ready to be broken in my life? Your response is not just a reflection, it's a spiritual declaration that activates the first portal to your financial miracle. In the next revelations, I'll show you exactly how this 7-day process will eliminate the specific blocks that have limited your prosperity and the precise steps needed to ensure this divine transformation fully manifests in your reality. The scarcity that has followed you for so long is on its way out, and the abundance that has always been your divine right is finally at your doorstep. You may be wondering, how can I be sure I'm truly one of the chosen ones for this 7-day financial miracle? This is a crucial question, because the certainty of your divine selection is the foundation upon which your entire transformation will be built. The signs that you've been selected for this supernatural wealth transfer are hidden in events you've likely dismissed as coincidences or insignificant occurrences. In reality, they were divine markers, carefully placed along your journey, signaling your preparation for this specific moment. The first sign shows up through unexplained patterns of financial frustration. Situations where you did everything right, followed all the conventional advice, and still faced incomprehensible blocks. These were not failures, they were divine protections, preventing you from settling for a level of provision far below your true destiny. As revealed in Isaiah 55:8-9. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. What appeared to be delays were actually divine preparations, positioning you perfectly for this accelerated wealth transfer. The second sign is revealed in the recurring dreams and visions of abundance that have visited you in recent months. Images of expansion, larger spaces, abundant resources, or simply an unexplainable feeling of financial relief during sleep. These weren't creations of your imagination. They were prophetic messages preparing your spirit for the coming manifestation. The third and most significant sign is the restlessness you feel as you watch this message right now. The deep resonance that happens when something within you recognizes a truth it was specifically designed to receive. This feeling isn't emotional. It's a spiritual recognition that transcends the intellect. As someone chosen for this miracle, you've probably also noticed seemingly random encounters with people who brought up topics of abundance, growth, or opportunity. People who, for no apparent reason, shared visions of prosperity or spoke prophetic words about financial shifts in your life. These weren't chance meetings. They were strategically placed confirmations of your selection. Another undeniable piece of evidence is the recent increase in opposition and resistance you faced. When someone is selected for extraordinary breakthrough, opposing forces inevitably rise up in an attempt to block the one destined for prosperity. This spiritual principle is revealed in 1 Corinthians 16:9. For a great and effective door has opened to me, and there are many adversaries. The very resistance you've been experiencing is confirmation of your selection to strengthen your position as the designated recipient of this financial miracle. It's vital that you publicly declare your acceptance of this calling. Click the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel. This isn't a conventional engagement request. It's a spiritual statement of alignment that signals your readiness to receive this extraordinary flow of abundance. Answer in the comments, what sign of divine selection for prosperity has already shown up in my life? Your response not only solidifies your acknowledgement, but also activates a deeper level of manifestation over the next 7 days. In the next few minutes, I'll reveal the 3 specific blocks that have been preventing financial fullness in your life. Blocks that will be completely removed during this 7-day miracle. These aren't generic concepts, but precise obstacles, strategically placed to hinder those chosen for extraordinary abundance. Your journey of transformation hasn't just begun. It's accelerating with every moment you remain connected to this revelation. The signs have always been present in your life. Now you finally hold the keys to interpret them and activate their full meaning. To fully understand the financial transformation that is about to unfold in your life, we must first identify the 3 fundamental blocks that have been preventing the natural flow of prosperity until now. These are not just common financial obstacles. They are carefully positioned barriers designed specifically to contain those who are destined for extraordinary levels of abundance. The first block operates on the level of perception. Without you even realizing it, your mind has been programmed with an invisible financial ceiling, a subconscious limit that defines the maximum amount of prosperity you believe is possible in your life. This ceiling wasn't created by you. It was installed through formative experiences, family observations, and social messages that silently defined the boundaries of what you consider realistic or possible financially. Every time you started to approach this invisible ceiling, internal mechanisms of self-sabotage were triggered to keep you within the established limits. Opportunities were turned down because they seemed too good to be true. Decisions inexplicably pulled you away from financial breakthroughs. Promising relationships dissolved at the most critical moment. These weren't failures. They were manifestations of the invisible ceiling, keeping you exactly where the system expected you to remain. During the first phase of your transformation, this ceiling will be completely dissolved, allowing your financial reality to expand into dimensions that once seemed impossible. As revealed in Ephesians 3:20, now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us. The second block functions on the energetic level, specifically in your relationship, with the concept of worthiness. This block manifests as a constant mismatch between the effort you invest and the rewards you receive. The persistent feeling of working harder than others, only to receive less. The frustration of watching people with less talent or dedication thrive, while your own efforts face inexplicable resistance. This imbalance is neither accidental nor the result of bad luck. It is the direct manifestation of a misalignment between your internal vibrational frequency and the energy of unlimited abundance. For centuries, Those who control global resources have understood that prosperity is not just a financial state, but a specific energetic signature that can be interfered with and blocked in individuals who pose a threat to the status quo. In the second phase of the transformation process, your energetic field will be recalibrated to its natural state of full worthiness. The principle of fair reward will be restored in your life, creating a direct link between your unique contribution and the material return it deserves. The third and most powerful block operates on the spiritual level, manifesting as a disconnect between your natural talents and monetization opportunities. The deep feeling that your true skills and passions have no real value in the market. The frustration of having to choose between doing what you love and earning what you need. This internal conflict is not simply a career decision, it's a strategically created divide designed to prevent those with extraordinary gifts from achieving financial independence through them. As written in Proverbs 18:16, a gift opens the way and ushers the giver into the presence of the great. The spiritual principle is clear. Your gifts were designed not only to bring personal fulfillment, but also to be your path to exceptional prosperity. During the final phase of your transformation, the artificial barrier between purpose and provision will be permanently removed. Together, these three blocks have created a nearly impenetrable containment system around your financial possibilities. The very fact that you are receiving this revelation now indicates that the divine moment for the complete neutralization of these barriers has arrived. The process that will unfold during this transformational period is not merely a tweak to your external circumstances. It is a fundamental reconstruction of the underlying structure that has governed your relationship with material prosperity from the very beginning. Just like a prisoner who not only escapes the cell, but completely dismantles the prison so it can never be rebuilt. As we move forward into the next revelation about the daily activation process, keep in mind that the blocks that have defined your limits for so long have already begun to dissolve from the moment you connected with this message. The very act of recognizing these barriers accelerates their collapse. Financial freedom is not just your destiny, it is your original natural state from which you were only temporarily diverted. The path back to this state is not a journey into new territory, but a return to what was always meant to be your reality. We now arrive at the practical core of this revelation, the meticulously structured process you will implement during this period of transformation. Each day represents a specific layer of activation, designed to systematically dismantle identified blockages and establish a new, permanent financial reality. This is not a symbolic ritual or a series of vague affirmations. It is a precise, spiritual technology calibrated to produce tangible results within this specific cycle. The exact sequence of activations is crucial. Each step prepares the energetic ground for the next, creating an accelerated momentum of manifestation. Day 1. Dissolving the financial past. The first day is dedicated to a complete break with the historical patterns that have governed your economic experience. Between 5 and 6 a.m., you will perform the financial release protocol. This process begins by writing down all the negative experiences related to money, rejections, losses, deceptions, failures, on a regular piece of paper. This document becomes the physical representation of your limiting financial past. Next, you will recite the temporal boundary declaration. Today, I establish a clear and permanent dividing line in my financial story. What happened before this declaration does not determine what happens after it. My financial past is complete. My new cycle of abundance begins at this very moment. After this declaration, the paper must be destroyed, preferably burned. but tearing it into small pieces is acceptable if burning isn't possible. The physical destruction of the document is not merely symbolic. It creates a tangible, neurological closure that your brain registers as a definitive change of state. Day 2. Recalibrating inner worth. Between 12 cat and 1 p.m. on the second day, you will implement the value realignment practice. This technique directly addresses the worthiness block identified earlier. The process involves creating a detailed inventory of the specific contributions you bring to the world, not just professional skills, but all the qualities, talents, and unique perspectives that make up your authentic offering. This inventory should be followed by the divine pricing declaration. My worth is not determined by the market, external opinions, or comparisons. My worth is intrinsic, divinely established, and abundantly rewarded. I fully accept the perfect correlation between my unique contribution and my material reward. This process rewrites the subconscious programming that separates your internal sense of value from the external expression of material abundance. Day 3. Restoring the receiving channels. On the afternoon of the third day, between 3 Satulas and 4 p.m., you will activate what the ancient masters referred to as the paths of provision. This practice specifically focuses on your capacity to receive not just money, but all forms of abundance. The process begins with a simple yet powerful physical exercise. Extend your arms with your palms facing upward for exactly 7 minutes. This posture is not arbitrary. It activates specific neurological receptors associated with the ability to accept resources. During this time, visualize resources of all kinds: opportunities, connections, ideas, solutions, and yes, money, flowing easily toward you. After this exercise, implement the conscious receiving practice by identifying 3 ways in which you habitually reject or complicate the receiving process. Perhaps you downplay compliments, have trouble accepting gifts, or sabotage opportunities by dismissing them. Recognizing these specific blocking patterns is the first step to neutralizing them. Day 4. Redesigning the financial architecture. On the morning of the 4th day, between 7 and 8 a.m., you will begin actively constructing the new financial system that will sustain your expanded prosperity. This is not conventional financial planning. It is an exercise in conscious creative projection. Using paper and pen, physical tools are essential for this process. You will create a detailed visual representation of the financial ecosystem that will support your life over the next 12 months. This should include specific income sources, flow patterns, multiplication mechanisms, and protection systems. The crucial component here is precision. Exact numbers, defined deadlines, and specific mechanisms. Vagueness produces vague manifestation. Clarity produces clear results. This is not a wish list. It is an architectural plan for the reality that has already begun to materialize. Days 5 to 7. Consolidating the new reality. The final days of the cycle are dedicated to the solidification and protection of the new abundant structure you have established. During these 3 days, you will implement the 3-dimensional anchoring protocol, a process that ensures your financial transformation is physical, permanent, and expansive. Each of these mornings begins with the reality check practice, an exercise where you identify and document concrete evidence of the changes already taking place in your financial situation. These may be subtle at first. Unexpected opportunities, resources appearing at just the right moment, changes in how others respond to you in professional settings. The principle here is fundamental. Attention amplifies manifestation. What you consciously acknowledge expands tangibly. This isn't magical thinking. It's a deliberate application of the mechanics of focused consciousness. During the nights of these final days, the perimeter protection is implemented, a technique that creates an energetic barrier around the new financial reality to shield it from interference. This practice involves proactively identifying potential threats to your new prosperity, whether people, situations, or personal habits, and establishing clear boundaries to neutralize them. This complete 7-day process isn't just a series of exercises. It's a systematic reconstruction of your foundational relationship with material abundance. Every component has been meticulously designed to address specific aspects of the system that previously limited your prosperity. When implemented with precision and intention, this protocol not only removes obstacles, it establishes a new foundation for extraordinary levels of abundance that will become your new normal. To truly grasp the power of the process you're about to implement, consider the concrete results of those who applied this protocol before you. These are not hypothetical scenarios or generic examples. They are documented stories of real people who experienced extraordinary financial transformations within the same time frame you're entering now. Marcos, a 42-year-old tech professional, had struggled with persistent debt cycles for 2 decades. Despite his exceptional technical skills, he remained stuck in a financial survival mode, earning just enough to get by, but never enough to truly thrive. After implementing the 7-day protocol, a series of seemingly unrelated events converged. In his life, on the 3rd day, a former client reached out with a consulting opportunity that would pay 3 times his usual rate. On the 5th day, he received a notice that a substantial debt had been forgiven due to an administrative error discovered during a routine audit. On the 7th day, he was introduced to an investor looking for precisely the tech solution Marcos had developed as a side project. Within 3 weeks of completing the protocol, his financial reality had completely shifted from survival to sustainable abundance. Elena, a 37-year-old single mother, worked 3 different jobs just to keep up with basic expenses. The constant exhaustion had created a debilitating cycle where she was too worn out to pursue better opportunities. After the 2nd day of the protocol, she received a call about a position she had applied for 8 months earlier, a job that paid more than her 3 jobs combined. What made this shift truly extraordinary wasn't just the increase in income, but the perfect timing. The new job offered flexible hours that allowed Elena to be present for her children, eliminating the childcare costs that had eaten up much of her previous income. As she described it, "It wasn't just more money. It was the perfect solution to my specific situation, like it had been created exactly for my needs." Roberto's story illustrates the principle of accelerated multiplication. As a small business owner, he had stabilized his operation at a modest level, but found himself unable to grow beyond a certain point. During the protocol, he applied the daily practices with strict discipline, especially the redesign of financial architecture on the 4th day. The week after completing the process, 3 major corporate clients from completely different industries contacted his company simultaneously. Each one represented a volume of business that would typically take months to develop. Even more impressive was that each client used the exact language Roberto had written in his financial architecture exercise. His business tripled in 30 days and continued growing at a pace that defied all industry growth projections, as stated in Malachi 3:10. "Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. Test me in this," says the Lord Almighty, "and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it." This scripture is not an abstract promise, but a literal description of what awaits those who follow this protocol with integrity and precision. The shared testimonies are not exceptions or anomalies. They are representative examples of the consistent pattern of results this process generates when properly implemented. The transformation that has already begun in your life follows the same core principle. Abundance is not created, but released. When artificial blockages are removed and the natural order of prosperity is restored. As you move closer to your financial transformation, you'll face the most subtle and powerful of all obstacles, disbelief. This isn't just healthy skepticism, but a programmed response specifically designed to interrupt accelerated transformation processes like the one you're now implementing. In the coming days, your mind will generate internal objections that sound completely rational. This works for others, but my situation is different. The practices are too simple to solve such complex problems. Real change takes time. It can't happen in just 1 week. These are not your authentic conclusions. They are automatic defense mechanisms from a system that actively resists fundamental change. This phenomenon is not psychological, but spiritual in nature. As described in 2 Corinthians 10:5, we are instructed to demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. The thoughts of doubt that will arise are not random. They are deliberate resistances against the new reality forming in your life. The key to overcoming this obstacle is not to fight the disbelief or try to convince yourself of the process's effectiveness. Instead, simply observe these thoughts without identifying with them. Acknowledge this doubt is arising instead of I'm doubting. This subtle but crucial distinction creates a separation between your core awareness and your programmed mental patterns. There are 3 main reasons why individuals don't experience full results with this protocol, and understanding them now will practically guarantee you won't fall into these traps. First, partial implementation. The protocol functions as an integrated system where each component amplifies the others. Many make the mistake of only choosing the practices that seem most appealing or convenient, ignoring the ones they find uncomfortable or challenging. This selective approach inevitably produces incomplete results. Second, informational contamination. During this critical recalibration period, your mental field must remain protected from conflicting perspectives. Exposure to skeptical opinions or conventional financial advice during this phase often introduces interference that disrupts the process. Your discipline in maintaining a controlled mental environment will directly determine the level of results you experience. Third, and most fundamentally, hesitation at the crucial point of manifestation. Almost without exception, during this 7-day process, you will be presented with an opportunity or insight that requires decisive action. Many, conditioned by years of financial caution, hesitate precisely at this critical moment, the spiritual equivalent of refusing a divine offer at the moment it is being delivered. To ensure you don't fall into this trap, make a commitment to yourself now. When faced with a clear opportunity that aligns with your new direction, you will act immediately and decisively without letting your old pattern of indecision interfere. As written in James 1:6-8, but when you ask, you must believe and not doubt, because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea, blown and tossed by the wind. That person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Such a person is double-minded and unstable in all they do. Scripture does not condemn doubt as a moral failing, but simply describes its mechanical consequence. The energetic instability that blocks consistent manifestation. Your financial transformation is not a distant possibility or vague aspiration. It is a process already underway, activated the moment you connected with this message. The results you will experience do not depend on perfect belief, but on consistent action, despite the waves of disbelief that will inevitably arise. As your financial transformation unfolds over the coming days, a fundamental truth will emerge. The true purpose of material abundance is not merely your personal comfort or security. You have been chosen for this extraordinary flow of resources because you possess a unique ability to manage them with wisdom and purpose. Prosperity, in its purest essence, is a mechanism for impact. The resources flowing to you are not meant to remain static, accumulating endlessly. They are designed to move through you, amplified by your unique vision and distinct values. This core understanding separates those who experience lasting abundance from those who encounter temporary success, followed by unexplained loss. As revealed in Luke 12:48, "To whom much is given, much will be required, and to whom much has been entrusted, even more will be asked." This scripture is not a threat, but an accurate description of the spiritual mechanics that govern true wealth. The continuous flow of abundance is directly correlated with the expansion of your vision beyond personal needs. During this transformation process, you'll notice a fundamental shift in your relationship with money. The anxiety and worry that once accompanied financial decisions will be replaced by a quiet clarity about how resources should be allocated. This is not merely a psychological shift, it is the awakening of stewardship wisdom that comes integrated with true prosperity. The crucial difference between superficial and deep abundance lies precisely in this aspect. Superficial wealth only changes your external circumstances, while deep abundance transforms your core identity, expanding your capacity for impact and positive influence. 3 specific principles will govern your new relationship with expanded resources. First, the principle of conscious stewardship. Unlike the conventional concept of ownership, stewardship recognizes that you are not the ultimate owner, but a temporary administrator of resources. This perspective eliminates both excessive attachment and fear of loss, which often sabotage sustainable prosperity. Second, the principle of strategic multiplication. Resources under your care should consistently grow in value and impact. This doesn't only refer to financial return, but to the expansion of benefit, how your resources progressively improve more lives on an increasing scale. Third, and perhaps most transformative, the principle of purpose alignment. True abundance flows most powerfully when directed toward purposes aligned with your natural gifts and authentic passions. You'll find that financial opportunities will begin to converge precisely in the areas where your unique contribution can be maximized. This is not abstract philosophy, but the practical mechanics of continuous manifestation. Those who understand and implement these principles discover that their initial prosperity is merely the first step in an expansive process that continues to amplify over time. Just like ancient merchants who understood that empty ships couldn't return filled, you'll discover that strategic generosity doesn't deplete your resources. It creates the necessary vacuum for expanded receiving. This isn't conventional charity, but conscious investment in the abundance ecosystem of which you are now an active participant. In the coming days, as new resources, opportunities, and connections manifest in your life, ask yourself consistently, how can I manage this not only for personal benefit, but for expanded impact? This core guidance will ensure that your initial transformation is just the beginning of an upward cycle of prosperity and purpose that will continue to evolve far beyond this initial 7-day period. As we approach the conclusion of this transformative cycle, your attention will naturally turn to a crucial question. What happens after the seventh day? How do you sustain and expand the new financial reality that is emerging in your life? To say, truth is that day 8 does not represent an end, but a beginning. The first day of a new cycle operating under financial laws completely different from those that governed your previous experience. You'll essentially be navigating uncharted waters with a much more powerful vessel now at your command. To successfully navigate this new territory, 3 specific practices must be incorporated into your daily routine, starting on the 8th day. First, implement the morning manifestation inventory, a daily process where you consciously and systematically document the new expressions of abundance appearing in your life. This isn't just a gratitude exercise, it's an amplification. Technology. What you consciously acknowledge and record multiplies by a fundamental spiritual principle described in Matthew 13:12. To whoever has, more will be given, and they will have an abundance. Second, establish what the ancients referred to as the inner council chamber, a daily 15-minute period of complete silence and receptivity. During this time, your sole intention is to receive specific guidance on your next steps along this expanded path. Unlike conventional meditation, this is a deliberately created space for the direct download of higher financial intelligence. Third, implement the perimeter expansion protocol, a practice where you regularly seek out and place yourself in environments that represent your next level of prosperity. This might involve physical spaces, social circles, or experiences that previously felt out of reach. The principle here is simple yet profound. Your financial reality will expand to the limits of what you perceive as normal and comfortable. It's also essential to understand that the transformation you are experiencing is not an isolated event, but part of a larger global movement of economic restoration. The resources now flowing into your life are connecting you to an emerging network of similarly activated individuals, each fulfilling a specific role in this broader realignment. In the months ahead, you'll naturally be guided to connections and opportunities that not only expand your own prosperity, but contribute to this greater movement of redistribution and redesign of the financial system itself. What you are experiencing now is merely the first step in a journey of continuous expansion, one that will transcend every limit you once accepted. As possible in your financial life, the decisive moment has arrived, the revelation has been delivered, the path has been clearly illuminated before you. In just 7 days, the financial reality that has limited your existence will be completely transformed through the process you now possess. This is not an empty promise or fleeting inspiration. It is a precise methodology tested by thousands before you, with consistent results that transcend conventional explanations. All that remains now is your decision to implement what has been revealed. As stated in Deuteronomy 30:19, choose this day whom you will serve. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. 2 paths lie before you: to remain in the limiting financial system that has controlled your potential, or to take the decisive step into the unlimited abundance that is your divine birthright. 2. Seal this divine covenant of prosperity. Leave an amen in the comments below. This is not just a comment, it is your public declaration of acceptance of this financial blessing. Also, click the like button and subscribe to this channel to receive future revelations that will guide your abundance journey. You were chosen for this transformation not by chance, but by divine design. The time of lack in your life ends today. The era of extraordinary abundance begins now.